Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, and double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai's peace be bestowed unto you, hopefully elect. I'm your brother Yoba Call from Great Millstone, Orlando, and I have a series of videos here. There's plenty of, videos going on throughout the internet, social media and whatnot right now, so just got just a series of videos here, just going into the fact that Esau, the fact that his kingdom is going down, and it's beautiful to see. Call Halayim Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai. I'm gonna grab this real quick in the book of Sirach, Ecclesiasticus. Bear with me real quick. Ecclesiasticus 25 in verse 7. There be 9 things which I have judged in mine heart to be happy, which that's spiritual, because 9 goes into judgment. So again, it says, there be 9 things which I have judged in mine heart to be happy. And the 10th I will utter with my tongue, a man that hath joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. And again, being in the midst of this queendom, this Mother Mary, Mother worship energy vibration of a kingdom, or a queendom rather, because this is the vibration that Esau pushes. All right, women empowerment, like the scriptures say, there being a new thing, a woman compassing a man. And that's a part of why things are in a state of chaos. Women being in these positions of power, these positions of leadership. Because a woman, she's not led, she's not set up, she's not built to lead. Other than the children. But even with that being said, because the woman, the mother, more so, just she just backs up the standard that the husband has set up. You see? So with all that being said, because again, Esau, his power structure is going down. And, with that being said, by default, Esau, his biggest associate, his biggest partner in crime from hell, being the Israelite woman, by default, she's going down with them. You see, and it's beautiful to see. It's beautiful to be a witness to, being that pride is at an all-time high. And as the scriptures say, roughly paraphrasing, with great pride, man, it comes a great fall. And you got to ask yourself, man, you just got to think upon it. I often meditate on it as far as what the Lord is going to bring to finally humble these women. Because I actually have a video here in this collection, dealing with just one of a number of women, because that's another thing it's crazy. Things are so backwards in a society. You would think, someone that's homeless, they would be humble, but things in this society are so backwards. It's the opposite. You know, you have it to where people that are homeless, they're proud, and that's the case with a lot of these Evites out here that are losing their homes. They're becoming homeless and are still proud. So like I said, just to meditate on what is the Lord going to bring to finally put the nail in the coffin. What is the Lord? What type of calamities is the Lord going to bring to really humble these women? Because the power structure is coming back to the Israelite man and the elect man at that. You see, because as the scriptures say, in the day of thy power, thy people shall be willing. A lot of these people, especially when it comes to women, being hypergamistic by nature. And that's something that's Esau has taught pretty much all these nations, because these nations, they don't deal with Esau because he's the man, he's fly or anything like that, but nevertheless, these other nations, they're groupies, you see. But again, Esau, he's losing his power, and the power is coming back to the Israelite man. All right. As you brothers notice, if you're paying attention, in general, and it's not a coincidence. Mainly, at least I noticed, mainly Esau and Eve being extra nice to a brother. When I'm out and about, it'd be mainly Esau, Edomites, and Evites that are extra nice as of lately, and like I said, that's not a coincidence, because E and Eve, they're losing, and here it is, Israelite men, the elect men, you brothers more and more are shining, and like I said, Esau, he's losing his power. So where do you think these groupies, where do you think they're going to turn their attention to, their focus to you brothers? And that's not to say that, hey, brothers just be out here and just, just heaping up all these women. No. The time is coming where brothers are really going to have to vet these women, put these women through the ringer, as they did us. These women, being that they're on their high horse, they're on this pedestal, really be putting the Israelite men through hell, for the bare minimum, so, hey, call Elohim Yahweh Shemal Shai, he's setting things right side up. The tables are turning in our favor. So the same way that Yahweh Shemal Shai has given us the strength, the spirit to deal with whooping our ass, bearing the Lord's indignation, dealing with these curses, Yahweh Shemal Shai is going to give us the same spirit, or not the same spirit, but rather, he's just going to give us a certain spirit to where, hey, we're going to be able to deal with the blessings when they come. Again, when the tide's turning in your favor, when the table's turning in your favor, and the ball is in your court, and of course, with that being said, there's going to be a level of maturity. Because I use this example all the time. When it comes to these so-called celebrities, all right, a lot of them end up bugging out, the riches, the fame, it comes fast to the point where these so-called celebrities, they don't know how to deal with it. And this is why they bug out, because they don't know how to handle the responsibilities. We are taught the responsibility, because as the scriptures say, they reign like kings without us. They reign like king. They reign as king, like kings without us. You see, because Jake loves the title of being a king, but they don't want to deal with the responsibility. We are being groomed to handle the responsibility because it's coming. It is coming. All right. Like it says in 2 Kings 6:9, Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So it is coming. All right. So brothers, be ready. All right. Because again, a part of seeing the downfall of our enemy, right? I'm gonna go to this in Micah. Because you women have hell to pay. Contrary to what this society has taught you, you women, you so-called women. You women have hell to pay. Because what does the society teach? Right? Well, the women come first, right? You gotta protect the woman, right? Women and children first, right? But hey, the Lord is not biased towards anyone. Yahweh Shema Shai, he's about order. You see? So when it comes down to it, more women are going to be getting got than anything. You see? Because you women have the Lord has it out for a lot of you women for what you did to his men. Matter of fact, let's go to this real quick in Revelation 16. I was just going over this in class. Because something that I say all the time as well. The Lord, man, for generations, these people have been able to put hands on the Lord's men, touch his men, have his way with the Lord's men. But this is the last generation that these people are going to be able to have their way with Yahweh Shema Shai's men, and the Lord not do something about it. This is that last generation. So there's a lot of well, let me just grab this in Revelation 16. Revelation 16, I'm going to start at 4. And the third angel poured out his vial upon the rivers and fountains of waters, and they became blood. And I heard the angel of the waters say, Thou art righteous, O Lord, which art and was and shall be, because thou hast judged thus. But they have shed the blood of the saints and prophets, and thou hast given them blood to drink, for they are worthy. And I heard another out of the altar say, Even so, Lord, power almighty, true and righteous are thy judgments. So you see, because of the precious saints, the blood of the saints that have been shed, and specifically dealing with Jake, because these are vials being poured out, just specific events, a series of events, judgments that Yahweh Shema Shai is going to be pouring out on the earth. All right. Which also goes back to the plagues that Yahweh Shema Shai brought to ancient Egypt. Right? Because real quick in Exodus 7. Exodus 7. Exodus 7. And bear with me. Exodus 7 and verse 14. And the Lord said unto Moses, Pharaoh's heart is hardened. He refuses to let the people go. Get thee unto Pharaoh in the morning. Lo, he goeth out unto the water, and thou shalt stand by the river's bank. Thou shalt stand by the river's brink against he come, and the rod which was turned to a serpent shall thou take in thine hand, and thou shalt say unto them, and thou shalt say unto him, the Lord God of the Hebrews hath sent me unto thee, saying, let my people go, that they may serve me in this wilderness. And behold, hitherto thou wouldest not hear. Thus saith the Lord. And this thou shalt know, that I am the Lord. Behold, I will smite with the rod that is in mine hand upon the waters which are in the river, and they shall be turned to blood. And the fish that is in the river shall die, and the river shall stink, and the Egyptians shall loathe to drink of the water of the river. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying unto Aaron, take thy rod and stretch out thine hand upon the waters of Egypt, upon their streams, upon their rivers, and upon their ponds, and upon all their pools of water, that they may become blood, and that there may be blood throughout all the land of Egypt, both in vessels of wood and in vessels of stone. So again, going back to, some of the plagues that Yahweh Shema Shah plagued those ancient Egyptians. All right, because, the Pharaoh refused to let the Lord's people go. Well, that same concept applying to the elect, Yahweh Shema Shah's elect, choicest vine, all right, his precious jewels, all right, his men, because ye have not obeyed my voice, thus saith the Lord. Who's the voice of Yahweh Shema Shai? Being his men. All right. You see, again, the Lord has allowed for a lot of you women, because of how you've done your own man. All right, your own men. How you treated the men of Yahweh Shema Shai. Now going back to Micah 7. So you see, man, don't expect no sympathy when it comes to a man of Yahweh Shema Shai. The Lord has already hardened us up to a certain point. All that Captain Saberho spirit, all that. You got to protect the sisters, brother. The hell with all that. All right. The hell with all that. A lot of you women are just going to be out there to fend for yourself. Like, it reminds me of when Aaron and Moses' sister, how they spoke against Moses. And to show you again how the Lord deals with order, he deals with, that orderly structure. Because he didn't he didn't punish Aaron. The Lord punished Moses' sister, and she was without the camp. And it doesn't tell us, but we can speculate, because being without the camp, being in the wilderness, hey, there's no telling what Moses' sister, there's no telling what she had to go through out there in the wilderness by herself. Being without the camp, probably dealt with all type of, animals and probably sleepless nights and, hearing all type of shit, man. Animals in the background, animals trying to eat her ass, whatever. But just the point being that she was just out there by herself, desolate, to fend for herself. And that's going to be the case for majority of you women that have forsaken your own man. That's why, hey, don't expect sympathy from a man of Yahweh Shema Shai in that day to come. And I'm talking about the ones that are not predestined to make it. Because Yahweh Shema Shai is going to have a certain spirit on his men to be able to see right past you women and your bullshit, you so-called women and your bullshit. Brother's going to be able to see right past you, see right through you. Micah 7. Micah 7, I'm going to start at 9. I will bear the indignation of the Lord, because I have sinned against him. And you see, that's the thing about it, hey, we fucked up. All right, the Lord hit us where it hurt, because contrary to popular belief amongst Israel, as far as what they say about the men of Great Millstone, and we hate women and this and that, when we actually love women, but that is the problem. That can be a problem, you know, the fact that we do in fact love women, you know. And, you know, that's why oftentimes the Lord has to preserve us. He has to save us from ourselves for the simple fact that we do love women. You know, that's our glory, God damn it. You know, and that's why the Lord hit us where it hurt, because we are the Lord's glory, you know. Um, you know, and how we did the Lord, the Lord, that's why we bred the Lord's indignation. That's why, it hurts. You know, when it comes to the topic of women, you know, these women, they'll break your heart, man. You know, she'll commit evil and wipe her mouth, man, and say, hey, you know, just straight up, just, man, you know, hey, that's why there's not more wicked than a woman, man. You know, all wickedness is little, but to the wickedness of a woman, you know. But it says, until he plead my cause. So you see, man, Yahweh Shema Shai, at the end of the day, you know, all we got to do is just focus on Yahweh Shema Shai, you know, and to you brothers, you know, everything's going to come naturally to you, you know, in your favor. More and more, the more we focus on Yahweh Shema Shai, the more things just work out in your favor. You know, so that way, hey, you know, when it comes to the subject dealing with women, one thing brothers should not do is chase. You know, one thing a brother should never do is chase. Now, something I encourage brothers, younger brothers in the faith, have fun with it, you know, because at the end of the day, it's a game. And you just got to play the game, you know. The scriptures say, when it comes to these women, deal wisely. You know, play the game, have fun with it. Don't ever take any of this shit serious, especially when it comes to these so-called women. Don't take none of these women serious. You know, have fun with it, you know, because it is a game at the end of the day. And you know, the more you figure this shit out, the better off you'll be. You know, or you could be a spiritual eunuch. You know, which, you know, we have sound advice in the scriptures to, just don't deal with women, period. You know, but you know, of course, as a man, you know, you're gonna be you know, at the end of the day, you're gonna do what you do as a man. You know, it says, and execute judgment for me. He will bring me forth to the light, and I shall behold his righteousness. So you see, man, you know, well, let me read on verse 10. Then that she that is mine enemy shall see it. You see, that's why, you know, because these women, the so-called women that be doing brothers wrong, you know, you know, brothers put up curses, right? And it's just like, damn, this bitch, you expect that bitch to drop dead that night. But nah, man, what good is it if the Lord takes her out and she doesn't see your glory? You know, she doesn't see your shine. And that's why I always use the example going back to ancient Egypt. The Lord plagued those Egyptians, but Israel had light. You know, and again, that same concept, to the elect, as wisdom makes a man's face to shine, right? When that day comes for us, and it's already happening, like I said, it's already happening on a low level. You know, we don't see it, but these people see it, and especially these women. You know, though Eve, she is deprived of wisdom, nevertheless, she's not slow. All right, Eve is not slow. You know, she's not wise, but she's not slow. You know, because they can see. They see that glow. They see that shine on brothers. That's why, like I said, there's no coincidence out of all people. Esau and Eve, especially when it comes to the so-called black women, how they're getting more and more. They're getting extra nice. Because in their spirit, they know they fucked up. And now they're trying to you know, get that favor, man. You know, get that blessing. You know, but no. That's why the Lord's going to have to give us a certain spirit, because, you know, Jake, man, Jake's that compassion. You know, Jake is compassionate. That's why the Lord's going to have to put his indignation on us. The Lord's going to have to put his spirit on us. because Jacob ended up forgiving Esau. Jacob ended up forgiving these wicked women. You know, the Lord's going to have to put a spirit on us. You know, all these women that have talked shit against the man of the Lord. Right? Like I said, an elect man of Yahweh Shema Shah is going to shine in that day. All right? So, again, it says, then she that is mine enemy shall see it. See what? They're going to see that power, as I quoted earlier. It says, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, where is the Lord thy God? And that's why a woman, she's going to be begging the man of the Lord to take away that reproach. Like, damn, you know, I fucked up. And yes, you did. All right, you fucked up big time. You so-called woman, you fucked up big time. All right, you fumbled. All right, you fumbled big time. You know, and you're going to have to bear that indignation the same way we had to bear the Lord's indignation, because, again, you're not exempt. All right, you're not special. All right, here it is. You know, we're you know, we acknowledge confess our faults against our power, our husband, which is Yahweh Shema Shai. What makes you women think that you're any special? You're any different? It says, where is the Lord thy power? Mine eyes shall behold her. Now she shall be trodden down as the mire of the streets. And that's just going to be the case. I'm not even going to say that's the sad case. No, that's the case. That's going to be the case for a majority of you women, so-called women. All right. You know, and hey, like I said, don't expect sympathy from a man of Yahweh Shema Shai. You know, here it is again. This all type of videos right now. You know, where are the good men at? Hey, the Lord is saving them for himself. All right. Walking right past your ass. All right. You want to know where all the good men are at? They're walking right past your ass. And the Lord is saving them from himself. I'm going to grab this in Isaiah 46. And I'm going to get into these videos. I think that's Isaiah 46. No, Isaiah 43 and 21. This people have I formed for myself. They shall show forth my praise. So you see, all right, specifically dealing with the elect. Yahweh Shema Shah is reserving the elect for himself. And, you know, you women, you just have to get with the program. Or not. You just going to have to find out. One way or the other. All right? One way or the other, you're going to find out. So where are the good men at? Hey, like I said, walking right past to your ass. Because Yahweh Shema Shah is saving them for himself. He's reserving them for himself. The best for himself. All right? So without further ado, I'm going to play some of these videos.
I've been living in my van for 5 months, traveling across the country and making music full time. And one of the questions that I get asked the most is, how do I record music living in a van? So I'm going to show you my setup. I have 300 watt solar panels on my roof. So whenever I have direct sunlight on the van, all of my electronics are being charged. The panels are plugged into a power generator that has AC, DC, USB A, and C outlets. So basically it converts the energy from the sun, stores it in the generator, and then turns it into usable power for my electronics. I also have a 1000-watt inverter connected to my car battery. So on the days like today when the sun isn't out, I turn on my inverter and then my alternator charges the generator instead. That way I never run out of power. Now as far as my studio setup, pay attention because I'm going to go real quick. For recording, I have the MacBook Pro with Pro Tools installed, the Apollo Twin connected to the Norman U87, Yamaha headphones, and Yamaha H3 speakers mounted to the van. Now, no matter where you record, the most important thing is sound quality, and there's 2 reasons why I've been able to get some amazing sound out of my mobile studio. And thank y'all for the compliments on my setup because I'm not a professional engineer, but I know a little something. Now when building this van, just like building a house, installation is very important. Like right now it's raining outside, but if I turn that mic on, you would not be able to hear a thing. I insulated the walls with 3M Thinsulate, which main purpose is to maintain a comfortable temperature in the van. Like right now it's 40 something degrees outside, but I'm very comfortable. I can get naked if I want to. More importantly, it quiets the outside noise a lot, but not completely, because I still have large windows that lets a lot of sound in. So in addition to the insulation, I have my chaotic eyeball, which isolates my vocals and minimizes my need to be in a recording studio booth. And there you have it. I made a list of all the equipment and the materials that I use to build my van on 3d9t.com under the tips and tools tab. So as I buy and try new things, I'll be updating that list. And if you want to see a full breakdown of how I turned this $5,000 van into a tiny home on wheels and mobile studio, then leave a comment below. And until then, y'all be good.
And you see, because there's several videos like this where, you know, basically, you know, these type of women, you know, being homeless, and they make it look good. They make it look pretty. You know, they make it look fabulous. But 9.9 times out of 10, if you just submit yourself to a man, you know, you won't be living like that, you know. You won't be in those type of conditions. You won't be in that type of situation. You know. And that's why I'm gonna go ahead and play this next video right here.
I'm ready for a husband. I'm ready to sit down and be quiet. I'm ready to listen. I'm ready to listen. I'm ready to wear matching outfits. I'm ready to go to the family events and be quiet and let you talk. I'm going to bring you a plate. I'm going to fix you a nice plate. I promise. I'm going to make you a drink. I make cocktails. You know, I'm going to look nice. I'm going to look pretty. I'm going to stay in shape. I'm going to go for walks. I mean, what do you need? Do you need me to support you? I'm going to support you. I'm going to help you build that business. Matter of fact, I'm going to be your secretary. What do you need? God, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm tired. I'm tired. This job done wore me out, y'all. They done wore me out about this job. Everything done wore me out. I done did wrong. I done mismanaged. I done mismanaged my life up here at this point. I need a life manager, and I think the life manager that I'm looking for is a husband. Father, fix it. I'm ready.
And that's how it's supposed to be. All right. That's how it's supposed to be, because a woman, again, you know, she's not built to handle pressure like that. She's not built to be put in these type of stressful situations, these stressful environments, being around all these other conquering spirits, you know, because more and more we see this type of an attitude where women, they're just like, hey man, you know, you got Eve straight up coming out talking about, hey, your man is our man. You know, you got Eve coming out like, hey man, you know, talking to these you other women about how, hey man, you need to share your man. You know, straight up. You know, because when you go into the whole concept of polygamous, you know, polygamy, all right, more so is beneficial for the woman than it is the man. You know, for one, it's more income, more resources. All right. Let's say a man is dealing with 2 wives. You know, instead of both that man and that woman, 1 man and 1 woman working full-time jobs. All right. Barely being able to spend time with one another. Barely able to spend time with the children. You know, well, hey, if you have an extra helpmeet around the house, hey, you know, hell, everyone could work part-time hours. You know, you get more, you know, liberty to, you know, spend time. You got one, the Eve, right? The wife shall have a sister wife to help out with the children, homework, so on and so forth. You know, y'all can rotate. You know, as far as cooking, doing chore. I mean, it's just when you think about it logically, it just makes all the sense in the world. You know, and having a man to manage the resources. You know, I mean, that's why, matter of fact, going back to that Ciroc, that's why I always say, man, when it's done right, hey, it's beautiful. In Ciroc 25, I do believe it is. And that's why, again, to brothers, we don't have to chase anything. We don't have to force anything. It is going to come to you. All right. It is going to come naturally through the Spirit. We just have to stay the course, like my man's from the book of Eli, hey, you just got to stay the course. And the Lord's going to be with us in all things. I do believe that's Sirach 25. Yeah. Sirach 25:1. And 3 things I was beautified and stood up beautiful, both before God and men. The unity of brethren, the love of neighbors, a man and a wife that agree together. So you see, when it's done right, man, it's beautiful. When it's done correctly, it's beautiful in the eyes of Yahweh Shema Shai. Done in an orderly fashion. It's a beautiful thing. But just the way that the society is set up, and these women, they're getting up in age and they're finding out. And most of them, by the time they realize it, it's too late. It's too late. And that's why the scriptures talk about how, because you have a what they call the oldest profession, going back to prostitution. Because in a lot of cases, a woman, due to uncertain circumstances, she has to revert to that type of lifestyle. And hell, you'll have a prostitute, be more honest than anything, be more humble about it too. She's more humble and honest about it. And that's why, like the scriptures going to how a harlot, man, she's going to have a better chance than a lot of Israelites. A lot of Jake in the truth, a lot of Jake that say they're in the truth, claim they're in the truth. You're going to have a lot of prostitutes are going to have a better opportunity to make it into the kingdom because it's sincere. Like I said, a lot of them are putting that type of, they're put in that situation due to uncertain circumstances, unfortunate circumstances, a series of unfortunate events, and a lot of them kind of, damn, that's beautiful. Call like Yahweh Shema Shai. I've never seen a red cardinal this close. I've never seen one this close, and that thing is beautiful. I've never seen one this close. So detailed. I wish I could take a picture of that joint. I've never seen one that close. Call like Yahweh Shema Shai. And Lord willing, I want to look that up to see if there's any type of spiritual meaning, because I know brothers be seeing them. I'd be hearing them too, but I've never seen one. I've never seen one. So that's beautiful. For that. A red cardinal. Man, that's beautiful. But yeah, man, a lot of these prostitutes are going to have a better chance over a lot of you so-called women. Believe it or not. Because at least they're sincere, at least they're honest and meek and humble for the most part, So play this next video.
Can I be honest with y'all? I'm fucking scared right now, okay? I'm scared because I don't know what the fuck to do in my situation. I'm about to be homeless if I don't pay my rent in 24 hours. So long story short, I've not been able to get into an apartment. I've been having to pay my rent weekly in a room for rent inside of a shared house. And I'm not trying to put my business out there, but this is the last resort that I get. I have to pay this down before tomorrow. And you look, I have to pay weekly. I don't have to pay $600 a week. I have to pay $300 a week. But as you can see, this is how much money that I have. I'm gonna just be completely honest with y'all. I don't have a job right now because my ID has been expired, but I have still tried everything that I could. I've even tried finding jobs. Ain't nobody trying to hire me, especially not in the time frame that I need help. I've tried calling 211, which is supposed to be a government assistance to help me find rental assistance in my area. I don't have anything over here that I qualify for. And by the grace of God, I was able to get food stamps this week. If I didn't have this food stamp card sent to me this week because they found out my situation when I was trying to call around for help, that should tell you that I don't even make enough money. This should tell you how honest and transparent that I'm being as a young woman, that I cannot continue to sit up here and try to help people if I don't get the help that I need for myself. Because you know what's gonna happen? If I go out there and I get homeless, I'm not gonna be able to make videos for y'all no more. And that's exactly what the Matrix, the devil, and the people want. If anyone is wondering why don't I get a job, my ID is expired. Who's gonna hire somebody whose ID is expired? This world is fucked up. I tried my best, y'all. Look, I put this whole website together. And I'm not trying to ask for pity. I'm scared, okay? I don't want to be fucking homeless. Can I be honest with y'all?
You see? And hey, them tears don't mean shit. To be frank with it. You know, those tears don't mean shit. Again, don't expect many of y'all but Shema Shah to sympathize with this. You know, to sympathize, man. You know, because most of the time, you know, situations like this, and again, all these videos, man, it's just, there's a, you know, dozens of these type of videos, you know, where basically these women are crying out, you know, they're crying out, you know, asking for money, asking for help. I'm scared, you know, oh, I want to listen now. I'll be a stay-at-home wife now. You know, all type of videos. You know, and most of the time, due to the fact, like I quoted, a woman being deprived of wisdom. You know, a lot of the times, you know, these women, so-called women, don't know how to live under your means. You know, you don't know how to live below your means. You put yourself in these type of situations. You mismanage your resources, which again, you know, we see why a woman, she shouldn't be in a position of power, a position of leadership, because she's gonna fumble the bag. She's gonna blow it. And this is why, hey, you know, if you had a man, and more specifically an elect man, if you have Bashar Shai, all right, who has your best interest of heart. Because what comes to mind when it comes to these women? Well, that's slavery. Well, you goddamn right it's slavery, goddamn it. But the thing about it is, you look at it all wrong. You look at it from a Western mindset. You know, because hey, we are slaves to Yahushai, and we love it. Yahushai has our best interests at heart. So it is slavery. It is captivity. But don't think about it from a Western standpoint of view. And that's the problem, you know. You look at things, you try to look at the scriptures from a Western standpoint. And the Bible is not a Western book. You can't read the Bible with the Western mindset. You see? So if you had a man, an elect man at that, all right, who could properly manage, distribute the resources, well, you won't be in these type of situations. You know, putting your business all on the internet. You know. But again, you know, with all that being said, dog, it's only going to get worse. You know, especially in a lot of those northern tribe nations. You know, those so-called Hispanic countries. You know, you got a lot of those Evites, man, those Northern Kingdom women who are prominent figures, you know, doctors, and they had to revert back to, or they had to revert to, you know, selling their body because, you know, things have gotten so bad, money being so devalued, and things of that nature, you know, with the collapses of these economies, You know, a lot of these women that were these women that were doctors and lawyers making good money, they had to revert to selling themselves, selling their body. And that's how it's going to be. I can't say unfortunately, because you women, you did this to yourself. Again, there's no sympathy. You did this to yourself. And although although accountability is like kryptonite to you women, well, regardless, one way or the other, you're gonna have to face the music. One way or the other, you're gonna have to face reality, and you're gonna have to hold yourself accountable. You're gonna have to deal with the reality, one way or the other. So, like I said before, it's just like, damn, what is the Lord gonna do? What is He gonna bring? Because there is a great humbling that's getting ready to take place. And we're seeing it more and more. We're seeing it. I'm expecting those phone calls, dog. I expect those hey big head texts. I'm expecting it. I tell brothers all the time, enjoy the little peace and quiet that you get. Brothers DMs be dry. Brothers phones be dry. Brothers get put in the friend zone. Enjoy that space now. Enjoy your little peace and quiet now. Because I'm expecting it any day now. Any day. It's cold because outside of, all the scammer, you get a lot of those scam calls. But outside of that, I keep my phone on do not disturb. Because I know it's coming. I know it's coming. We're past the point of Lord willing. All right. We're past the point of belief. We know. I know it's coming. I just know. And when I think about it, when I think about Isaiah 4:1, I get aggravated. I get pre-aggravated because of what it's going to come with. It's bad enough you got, for brothers that deal with women, it's bad enough you got one wife, man. She's just a goddamn pain in the ass, man. Just one woman alone is enough to be like, man, goddamn. But imagine when 7 women, however complete amount of number that is going to be for each brother. But just imagine that. Imagine dealing with 7 personalities. Imagine dealing with 50 personalities. Some brothers during Jacob's trouble, they might have 200 women, 200 wives. Imagine dealing with 200 personalities, and that's just the women. That's not even dealing with the men that aren't necessarily prophets and the children that come with it. Just imagine the women alone. The Lord gives you 150 women in Jacob's trouble. Imagine dealing with 150 personalities. So, when I think about it, I get aggravated already. And that, on another note, be careful too, to you brothers. Because a lot of these women, they're opportunistic. All right, they're about that opportunity. But like I said, brothers, are already being built up to that point where having that spiritual discernment, brothers going to be able to see right through these women, But on to the next one.
So my landlord just left my house. I get a knock at the door. It's Saturday, a little bit before noon. I open it. It's my landlord. I'll let her in. She hands me this. She's giving me 24-hour notice that Section 8 is not paying my June rent tomorrow. Rent is due tomorrow. $1,100. $1,100. She expects me to come up with. Because they are no longer paying my rent, I have to pay it out of my pocket. I don't work. I'm not going to work. I will never have a job, ever. How does the government expect me to keep a roof over my 6 kids' head without Section 8? Just because I've been on it for 13 years doesn't mean I don't need it anymore. I need it now more than ever. $1,100. And you expect me to come up with that in 24 hours. Or I have to get out. So pretty much, I'm going to be out on the streets. Because there's no way I can come up with $1,100.
And whose problem was that? Again, don't expect no sympathy from a man of Yahweh Shema Shai. But again, another just, this is just one of many, videos about, well, my rent is due and, Big Daddy government is not gonna, because, hey, the Lord, he's taking away that staff and that stay. The staff and bread, man, the comfort, the Lord is stripping. The scripture said that thy lovers will despise thee, roughly paraphrasing. Mainly talking about, how Jake, going after whoring after these other nations. But we often use that scripture to, dealing with the women as well, and how they, turned their back on their man, right? And mainly for Esau. And Esau now he's leaving you out there, and she looks like she looks like an Edomite, but with six children. Yeah, this might be Evite. Yeah, more than likely that's a Jake. Six children. Yeah, that's more than likely a Jake. But again, be careful, you brothers, because a lot of these women, they're opportunistic, man. I'm gonna grab this. Well, matter of fact, let me play this. I'm play this video.
Broke her down so crazy, bro. And it goes to show that a lot of women just think that we supposed to just accept anything, bro, and just take their word. Oh, they picky promise that they not fucking crazy. Nah, but bro wasn't going. Bro wasn't going, dog. Hey, hold on, watch this.
Hey, I don't want you to take offense to this at all.
Okay.
But when I look at you, I see the pain. I see the aggression. See what I'm saying? I see the hurt. I see the trauma,
But that's not from the relationship.
But this is it could be from your baby daddy.
No,
but my
it's not.
question, but
That's
you
not.
said he did you dirty.
That's not, though.
This is my question, though. All right, boom. You've been with a woman for so long, right? In a relationship like that, domestic violence ain't okay, but it's more common. You box, right? You a little aggressive. I'm 5'10", 150 pounds.
I'm writing a book, so I really don't want to say, but
I'm 5'10".
foster kid.
I see the trauma. I see the hurt. I see
But
the
that's
aggression.
my dealings, not yours.
But listen, that shit bleed out in relationships
And
onto
it
the other
does.
person.
But
Let's
I
be
don't
realistic.
never put my problems on the next person. I don't never wake up and be unhappy for the next person. I don't never put what I'm going through on the next person.
Okay, my question to you is, again, I'm 150.
Yes, sir.
5'10". You box. I can fight too. I ain't know. You
But
see
I
what I'm
would
saying?
never. I don't do that.
Are you confrontational?
I do that because I don't
'Cause the way you
I don't
approach
pick
this.
up guns. I'm used to and I need to protect myself, right?
I can't even get my question out.
I see.
You dig what I'm saying? I'm looking for something soft.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm trying to be soft, but
She's
you niggas is weak.
But then the insults come when somebody don't agree with what she's saying. I'm cool.
Yeah. All right then. All right.
And that's a typical response that, you get, the fact that a man, because like I said, that whole simp shit, that whole simp spirit attitude, man, that shit's going out the window, and these women don't like that shit, a man that stands up for himself, a man coming into true manhood, again, a man coming back into his power structure, and that's in general. You have all these movements, these men waking up in general, because the Bible is the ultimate red pill book. And a lot of these red pill guys, they learn from the apostles, they watch the apostles. That's without a shadow of a doubt, but you see, at the end of the day, again, like I said, what is the Lord going to do? What is he going to bring to humble these women? Because what does the scripture say? Well, Ecclesiasticus 36. Ecclesiasticus 36. Because what does the scripture say? Hey, it's better to deal in the house, roughly paraphrasing, on the housetop with a lion, man, you know, than to deal with a woman like this, you know, too much goddamn testosterone, too masculine, you know, and when a man doesn't like dealing with a woman that's masculine, oh, he's effeminate, he's soft, he's weak, you know, which is a what do you call it? It's basically a that's a oh man, I forgot what it's called, but it's like a diversion tactic, man, you know, because a man doesn't want to deal with your ass because you're too goddamn masculine, you know, and at the end of the day, that's, you know, a man that, you know, because just because a man doesn't want to deal with a masculine woman, it doesn't make him insecure. Like I said, that's like a diversion tactic, man. You know, it's unattractive. You know, hey, if a man wants to deal with masculine energy, you might as well just be with another man. Which, of course, I'm not condoning that. You know, but hey, you know, it's like, what's the point? That's why I read earlier that Sirach 25, you know, a man and a woman, a wife coming together in agreement, man. That's a beautiful thing, you know, because a man has his purpose. And like I said, a woman, she's at the end of the day, a woman is not the prize. You're not all that in a bag of tater chips, man. You know, you're not special, but that's not to say you don't have your part to play. And when a man and a woman can come together in it's the perfect unison. A man and a woman is the perfect unison. You know, where he lacks, she picks up for it. She makes up for it. Where she lacks, he makes up for it. It's the perfect balance when it's done right. All right. But I'm gonna come back with a part 2, Salakia. I'll be right back.